Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you another video. All right, so it's another topic of conversation. I'm not talking about myself in this one. It's funny because I look at these therapy sessions and I realize sometimes, since the topics range so very, all over the place, it's people may want an update. Hey, anything new in your life or anything following up the old conversation? That's just not how this works. You may get an update every three therapy sessions or something like that. Some therapy sessions I might carry over a conversation, maybe 2 or 3 conversations. I let it go. So that's kind of how this goes. We talking about something that has nothing to do with myself, but once again, somebody else's stuff that we seen on IG or whatever. So I was always, you know, one to uh, tell you guys that I have a prayer list of people that I've prayed for the last couple of years, maybe about 3 years now, maybe a little more than that. And when things happen involving those folks, I usually try to bring it to my therapy sessions, tell you guys what I've seen or thought of or what came to me or whatever, however it goes. In this case, it's another one of those people on that list, Kanye West. Uh, his situation right now is not him. He's doing good, I guess. He's been quiet. He went back on IG and posted something uh, relating to Balenciaga. It didn't say, I don't know what it was, but he's got something up his sleeve. So this is not involving that at all. This is actually involving his family, his kids, man. When it comes to family and people's business and stuff like that, I only want to come from a positive and constructive place. So letting y'all know this is the tone here: constructive, helpful, hopefully. Uh, but at the end of the day, the man has young kids. Of course, we know who they are and all of that. And a couple of days ago, a new artist, Ice Spice, whose music is starting to take off, has been taking off in the last 5 months or so. She was uh, I guess she was invited to Kim's house and hung out with Northwest and maybe a couple of her buddies, and it was fun enough, energy for me. I thought, the content that Ice Spice um, is singing about is probably not the greatest thing for a young child to sing about, but I don't see a whole lot of difference in the culture as it pertains to what young North is singing now and what I probably was singing when I was her age. You know what I mean? For me, it was Bone Thugs and Tupac, but we were singing the same stuff. Bad content for young people. So this is not new culture. However, we do have something called TikTok that now allows for those kids, of course, to express themselves. New culture now, expressive, uh, content online and stuff like that. And everybody knows that TikTok is connected to China in whatever way it is. So there's a lot of confusion about, how good it is for our country based on just how it's not necessarily regulated by our country, but does provide a great deal of service to children and young people who want to enjoy music and just get up there and spend a couple seconds just dancing or whatever they want to do. So she did a couple TikTok. She did a TikTok with Ice Spice. North did and her friend, and they just kind of did a little nice little situation where the girls were kind of dancing, not promiscuously, nothing too crazy, but they were dancing like children. And Ice Spice kind of was just next to him dancing. She turned around, that kind of thing, a little more than you want to, but she stayed on brand with who she is, I guess. So I didn't think her behavior was crazy at all. I thought she handled herself, in a way that I thought was cool. But at the same time, it was just the fact that she was there, the music that she sings, who she's next to, and then you think about what Kanye had already said about how he didn't really want his kids on TikTok. He preferred that his child not have anything to do with that. And he didn't feel like he was given enough of respect in regards to the conversation. He didn't want his kid on TikTok. He had his reasons for that. And just not being respected. And he's mentioned it several times. And now we see, this is what's happening now. And then, of course, to just follow up, his daughter North, after the whole Ice Spice thing, the very next day she put on a wig and she was kind of pretending to be Ice Spice. She had a song on. One of the lyrics was talking about, blowing backs out and stuff like that. And Lil North is wearing like a tight form-fitting outfit, two-piece out, not two-piece, but two two matching layered outfits, like a sweatsuit type thing, a little form-fitting, a little too form-fitting. And she wasn't dancing crazy, but she did turn around once, sort of like Ice did. Just not what you're ready for a child to do in any way, shape, or form on TikTok for the world to see. Being who she is, it just was not something you want to see. The lyric in the song, she was singing it. It ain't the lyrics you want your child singing, especially for the world to see. And it just spoke to what it is that your head already said, that he didn't want his child up there. And it just seems like this was yet another poke at him. And you look at the IG post and what he's posting, seeing him reemerge, and then you look at this and it's like, is there some merit to what he was saying in regards to them kind of using the culture itself to kind of poke at his child? Using Kim's superstar status to initiate these circumstances that are going to obviously get him to lash out or get him to start up again, that kind of thing. And I just wonder if that's worth thinking about in regards to the powers that be, so to speak, provoking this man. Ice Spice is a huge superstar, right? So anything that has to do with her and Kim Kardashian has to be put together by everybody's team. It ain't just her calling up Kim and saying, hey, can I come over? Or Kim calling her saying, hey, would you like to do a birthday party for my daughter? No, it's huge. These are corporations who are marketing certain entities, looking to push Ice Spice's career forward. So this is yet another photo op, another commercial, another opportunity for Ice Spice's star power to increase. So that's all it was. It's a 2-day Kardashian promotion of Ice Spice's image, right? Because that's really what's happening here. North is not just sheepishly putting on a wig of her buddy who she was hanging out with yesterday, and now all of a sudden it's just real sheepish and nice. No. Corporations have made agreements, contracts have been signed, people have been paid, and this is something that I think is organized very, very, very intently. It's a lot of money moving around with stuff like this. So that's what I understand fully, that this was a huge 2-day Kardashian photo op for Ice Spice. And they're just making her even more famous. And it's not, I don't think Ice Spice's music sucks or anything, to be honest with you. I really don't. I listen to her music, and I think I used all but one song in regards to my playlist. So I like Ice's music. I think she's one of the better young artists in the lane. But at the same time, it's like, you just want to make sure that we're respecting that. I guess what I want to say is that people are looking for that to change, the culture to change. Yes, we've been singing certain lyrics for all our lives, and we know that this is not new, having young people sing stuff that's inappropriate or whatever. But I guess we're just getting into a space where, because everybody is on camera every day, it's a different vibe, I guess, for the grown-up generation alive today, watching kids do this. It's just, I think it's different in the sense that we know these kids can be exploited, as I talked about yesterday. Your image can be done, all kinds of stuff with that. It can be lasting forever. Various things that you just didn't have to worry about when you were when you were a kid my age. Back in the day, singing Bone Thugs, wasn't a million people watching you. It wasn't recorded for all time, etc. So this is one of those situations where I just thought it was relevant, because we talked about this, in regards to Kanye West and his family, and just ultimately how it seems like the powers that be have been at war with him, and it ain't just him lashing out at them, but them also kicking back at him. And this is yet one of those things. It just seems like they're kicking back at him, and I just understand the same time he reemerges. Now you got this situation that's just poking basically the very thing that he's told the world that is very important to him, that in regards to that, stopping him being a father and all of that stuff. It's just something you let the world in on. And if you look at the IG posts that show this particular content, I'd say a good 90% of the comments are essentially saying, Ye was right, this is exactly what he was talking about, why don't y'all take this down, we gon' unfollow y'all. First it was No Jumper, Shade Room posted it, then another one posted it. All the publications I done told you about, all the publications that I told you are the people behind the curtain. of course, they all work in unison. So when it's time for them to all do something, they all do it. And it's just so tired knowing that this is the energy that I've been fighting against the whole time when I do these videos and talk like this. It's the energy that's in between us and the content that we appreciate. Various entities that are there to regulate and promote and make normal various different types of things within our cultures. And I just understand that a lot of those things that are made normal in this era are community driven in some cases, in regards to we're trying to prop up certain communities to exploit them, to think they're exalted to hell so they can pour their marketing dollars into whatever the energy is for the day, that kind of thing. You're the most important. See, we love you, and them, they're going to have to adhere to you, that kind of crap. And it's a lot of that type of stuff that pins people against one another, and they use these type of subjects to manipulate our opinions and mold how we view things. And so as I watch this, and they do this with Kanye West in this particular situation, I just sense that this is yet another one of those. At the end of the day, you want Kim Kardashian to not necessarily allow for this, because she knows that man is ill. She knows his kids mean a lot to him. She knows that anything that starts a spiral with him could continue a spiral that goes on forever. There just needs to be some cognizance to the volatility of possibilities when you allow for certain things to happen involving that particular person. You don't just, as I love to say, sheepishly fall into certain things when you know other things are going to happen because of those things. You either want those things to happen or you're just not paying attention. And I don't think people like that are not paying attention. They know, everybody who knows of Kanye's concerns knows that once that happens and once that's posted, he's going to obviously then be prompted to either have something to say or try to refrain from going off. So are they poking the bear? I think so. I think there's a million ways to promote Ice Spice. You do not have to put her next to Ye's kids. You don't have to do that. There are a million ways, and I say a million, I mean a million ways to promote that artist. Putting her next to 15, you wish she was 15, 10-year-old girls, that ain't the best way to promote a sexual artist. Let's just be real. She's a sexual artist. She had no business being next to no 10-year-old girls. Oh, no way. No level. No level. And that's something we know. And like I said, I thought she handled herself well. I don't think she walked in there with bad energy. I don't think she walked in there trying to do nothing other than be respectful. You know what I mean? I don't think I've ever seen Ice Spice do anything that I felt wasn't, on par with her brand. You know what I mean? I don't think the girl's acting crazy enough. But it's just a point of, the content. You know what I mean? The content. You just want to separate that content and the image of those words from the image of those children. That's what I want. That's what I would prefer. If the young girl is singing the music, she likes the music, her mom lets her listen to the music, whatever. But I think there's something to be said for respecting the true nature of their specific circumstance and just not. That's what I would say to Miss Kardashian. Just don't. Not when Ye, Ye is spiraling or trying to keep from spiraling. It's just, I don't know if anything that I can say in that situation really has any merit as it pertains to just speculating about why people would do certain things or what have you. I don't know. There's no way to know. But publicity is always the motive when it comes to celebrities. To me, it seems like publicity is the motive. Even when it's real life, they're still trying to keep those numbers up. They're trained to. So, I just think that it's most definitely important to dream of the unprecedented. When you're dealing with people who are not well, you don't just think things have gotten as bad as they're going to get. You prevent them from ever even getting worse. You definitely do that. So that's where I'm at, man. I just would love to see the village step up for Ye in this situation. That's what I'm trying to do here. I don't really know what to say or what's right, but I just want to acknowledge that, there's something to be said for a man coming out telling everybody he doesn't want his kid on TikTok and then seeing his kid on TikTok next to a superstar, young artist that obviously would need to be paid to be there. I don't think that that's happenstance, and I don't think it's right. I don't think it's wrong if you isolate just the artist and the fact that she has kids that appeal to her. That's not wrong. Or the fact that maybe Northwest likes good music or whatever, that's not wrong. If she wants to enjoy herself, even if she wants to do TikToks next to her buddy, that's not wrong. But the promotion of those TikToks that she does, that may be wrong, especially when you know what it is meant for, and it's not just to, sheepishly show her having a lovely day. No, it's about promoting an artist. So again, as I speak in circles, maybe that should be paid attention to in a different light. Maybe we should look at it. They try to change the culture that allows something like that to be normal. Just let's just find another way to promote our artists. Find another way to allow kids a bit more privacy. I think that's what I want. How about I don't ever get a chance to see that? As a 38-year-old man, I should never see that. You know what I mean? How about that only be available to children? Minus the Ice Spice part of it, minus the lyrics there talking about blowing people's backs out. How about that? Maybe they have a different version of that song that they play next to the kid. How about they record 2 versions of that song and make sure that there's only one version of that being played on TikTok? Those are ways to find a sweet medium that allows people to, you know what I'm saying? Not have to deal with this type of energy with their children. When I was a kid, they used to do two different types of songs. They would do the messed up version, and then they would do the clean version for the radio. That should have been the version available to Young North. You know what I'm saying? Just be real. So that's where the problem lies right there, man. What are we letting our kids, enjoy? How are we continuing to reinforce the same stuff that was allowed when we were kids? And because it was allowed, are we not evolving through that in the wrong way? They didn't stop us from listening to what we wanted to at 10 years old or whatever. Now kids are 10 and it's much more advanced in regards to how they promote and how they're seen and all that stuff. It's just so much more going on. Maybe we should have been regulated better when we were 10 so that it didn't become this. That's what I'm saying to you. Somebody should have stopped it. So maybe this time too. Maybe this is the time to start looking around and saying, you know what, we're a bit overly sexualized just in general right now. And therefore, this all tumbles forward to leave an environment for which this happens. And if we were a bit different in what we would allow, or maybe if we would have nipped some of this in the bud and seen the fruit and kind of capping off some of this stuff that we allow ourselves to enjoy, seeing some self-discipline in regards to how we govern as a society, then maybe we won't trickle down to harming our kids. I was thinking about that myself. As a man, and I'm going to tell y'all, this is a therapy session, I'll tell you the truth. As a man, I found myself thinking, this is an era that you appreciate as a single man because there's so much access to what it is you may be attracted to in your phone. You can see everything all day long, whatever it is you're into, there it is. And so it's like when we don't leave ourselves any regulation or any discipline of any kind, and we just assume overindulgence holds no negativity as it pertains to these images, then we may be tumbling forward something worse than what it is we're appreciating today. That's what this is bringing me to. As a man, I'm cool. I like seeing beautiful women on my phone. I like seeing whatever I want to see. But if we want to copy and paste what we've already said, maybe that's not a good thing. Maybe it tumbles forward to be something significantly worse, significantly more exploited, significantly less, whatever the case may be. However it evolves forward, it probably isn't good. Even though for me, as a man, single, I might appreciate it. As a 10-year-old, listening to Bone Thugs, I definitely appreciate it. But if I knew where it was headed, and I knew how I felt about it 25, 30 years later, maybe I would have seen the fruit and possibly wanting something different for myself when I was 10. These are the type of things, it's like, maybe we can fathom having these conversations now while we're enjoying every dang thing that we might be attracted to in our phone before it gets to a point where it gets 20,000 times worse for people our age 35, 36 years from now. So this is what I'm trying to fathom right now while I'm sitting here enjoying all that I see in my phone. Am I too tumbling forward something just the same. That shouldn't be. We got to see the fruit and maybe asking these type of questions. You know, we're in a world where we're told to go after ours, take everything you want. It's capitalistic society. No cap on what it is that you should take for yourself. You know, they say if you give a person an inch, they take a mile. We're teaching each other to take miles. You know what I mean? And there's some wisdom against that I think we've forgotten. And that's where we're at, you know? That's exactly where we're at. So I just want to kind of push forward some idea that maybe nobody's talking about in regards to saying, yo, maybe we should take a look at what it is we're appreciating. Maybe we should take a look at some of these cultures that have allowed for all of this. And then maybe we should take a look at maybe changing those things from there. So that's where my head is, man. That is the gist of the thought. I thank everybody for allowing me to vent. You know, Kanye West, I'm going to continue to pray for his family. That's why I felt comfortable that I was on this camera in the right energy. You know what I mean? I wish his kids the best. I don't want his kids to be shunned in any way for what they're doing. I don't think North did anything wrong from within her position. It's the people around her who would be wise to just respect the fact that she's 10 now, and 30 years from now she will be 40 and will look back on these things similar to the way I'm looking at this now. That's what we always got to remember. You're going to, if we're lucky enough to survive, we grow. And as we grow, we look back and then reflect. And sometimes there may be some resentment attached to that reflection when you don't see the type of respect that you will now pay to the generation that is in front of you as a grown person, not applied to you when you were a child. You see what I'm saying? North may be looking back saying, why the heck did y'all allow all that? When she gets old enough to realize none of this should be that way. So that's something that I think people need to kind of fathom as well. Protect children from what otherwise they will not be appreciative of later on. It's the same thing we talk about John Morant. T and all of his family and all the people that love him need to look at John and say, you're 23 now, you're making young people mistakes. You have to stop doing it, but also we have to stop you from doing it, because once you get to a point where you realize mistakes are no good, the first thing you're going to realize is we didn't stop you. The first thing you're going to realize is we didn't love you enough to grab you, shake you, and help you understand that you're about to throw it all away. And that's part of being in a village with people that you're supposed to have around you that love you, people that are in your life that are supposed to be leading you in the right direction. If they fail to do so, sometimes, yes, it definitely is the person's fault, but other times it's also that village that's supposed to be continuing to help raise them. You know, 23-year-old guy ain't grown. 10-year-old girl obviously ain't grown. They need people around them that are going to still be a part of that village to help cultivate them, regardless of what society's saying. At 21, there's 21. That 21 thing is our agreement. That's our norm. That's American Western stuff. We told ourselves at 21, everyone's grown no matter what. And we also have learned a lot about mental health, maturity, time, and things, how things play out over time. Since we've learned a lot. And so as far as continuing forward saying everybody's 21 is grown, yeah, we can do that. But as long as we're continuing to think as if that's a matter of fact, it's ignoring a lot of things that we have learned since. And so John ain't grown, man. Period. He's not grown. If he were grown, he wouldn't be making these type of decisions. So that's what I want to say, man. Let's normalize looking at people who are 22, 23, 24, 25 as people who still have to grow up in a lot of cases, man. A whole lot. And so that's what I want to say, man. And the sad thing about this conversation is young North is very, very far away from that. She's 10 years from that. You know what I mean? From being 20. So let's allow her a chance to be a child. I say remove all the TikToks, children TikToks from IG. They should only be available to people her age, yo. They're the only ones who should be able to see her dance around in any way, bro. And that's what I got to say about that. That is the gist of it. If you fix that part of our culture, I think it'll fall into place to where all this other stuff won't even be taking place. So that's what I have to say. My name is BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.